you hear me if I'm
I
like
can
this?
hear you
All
perfectly.
right. Oh, I got AirPods in. Let me not be slow. I'm sorry.
You're all good. You sound fine.
All right, cool. Perfect.
So how are you doing?
I'm Gucci, man. I can't complain. I'm just making the best out of whatever this is at
Quarantine.
this point because I don't even know what to call it anymore. But it hasn't been terrible to me, so I'm not
Yeah.
really complaining about it.
Yeah. So before we start on our topic for the night, why don't you introduce yourself to people, tell them who you are, what you do, how you became my big brother best friend.
All right. Well, for those who don't know me, hello everybody. I don't know who's all on here, but I'm Isaiah Gaming, but everybody knows me as Izzy. I met Amber through Temple University, which
Look at you,
is
ready to say I met Taylor. We're not talking about your wife
I'm not
yet.
saying Taylor. Come on, don't do that. Don't do this, y'all. Don't do this. Come on. But no, I met Amber at Temple University through just friends, and we've been like inseparable since. She's like my homie, so everything. So, but I do photography. I do a little bit of everything, but I do photography, a little music, and more so just my main objective is to spread inspiration in any possible way that I can. Spread positivity because we got a lot going on in this world. So, I mean, I'm a creative at heart, a
Wait,
Libra man. If y'all want to know what my sign is, because I know that question is probably going to pop up at some point.
I know
But
that.
yeah, so I just like good vibes and good energy and good people, and I try to, spread positivity the best
Yeah.
I can. So,
So I wanted to talk about maintaining relationships with you just because one, I feel like we have these conversations by ourselves all the time, like,
hmm
and we'll end up talking for an hour and then be like, oh, I wish I recorded that. Like we wish we would have captured it somewhere. And I figured, well, since I'm doing these lives now, this is a great time for us to do it. And because, we're all by ourselves or bunkered down in our houses and we do still have all these relationships we have to maintain. And when I
hmm
think about relationships, it's not even just romantic relationships. Like we need to maintain our friendships. We need to
Friendships.
maintain our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with God, our relationship with our colleagues and our coworkers and our partners. Like I work with a lot of brands and it's been really interesting to try to manage relationships with like brands and partners. Like you have clients who you may not be
Definitely.
shooting with, but like me
Yeah.
and you, we shoot all the time. Like
Mm.
there's still those relationships we want to maintain. So I kind of want to just talk about relationships from that like big, like bird's eye viewpoint and just
Okay.
how we're maintaining. And I think it's really interesting, one, because most of my audience is female and we rarely get like a male perspective on maintaining relationships. But I think one thing that I've always been like envious about my guy friends is that it's so easy for guys to kind of like maintain those friendships regardless of the situation. It seems like it's just really like a natural thing. Whereas I
hmm
think with women, it can be a little bit more complex than that because I don't know why it's more complex, but it just seems like it's more complex with women. So I guess we can start with romantic because
Okay.
I'll just ask you all the questions because I don't have anything to contribute there. But
Come
you're
on, don't do
married.
that.
So let's just talk about like how you and Taylor, your wife, my sister, who I love, who's in here.
Cheers,
Yes, and
baby.
just also to restate that you are married. Um, how you guys are maintaining your relationship while you're together 24/7 now without like driving each other crazy. Like how are you maintaining being individuals but also still being, together?
Right. I think the first thing I'll say about that, and some of it may sound cliche, but a lot of it is harder. Like it's easier to say it than do it. But
Yeah.
friendship first. I think being with Taylor has allowed me to really, really appreciate the gift of having a best friend first. And I think that with best friends, you can be more honest with your best friends about if they're getting on your nerves. You can be like, yo, like right now, you
Not
blowing
it.
mine. You blowing mine at the moment right now. But I love you. It doesn't mean I don't love you. You just blowing me. You already know what it is. So we have that. We have that part of our relationship first, before we even talk about romantic. So it makes it a little bit easier for us to communicate. But because we are romantically involved with each other, it's definitely important that we maintain a level of respect and love and care. Talking about love languages, everything like that. Just
Yeah.
understanding how she receives anything from me. If it's critique,
Yeah.
if it's love, if it's advice, I have to give it to her from the point of view of me knowing who she is first versus me telling her what I think that she should do based on
Right.
my own opinion. So I think that
Yeah, that's good.
the communication part of it for me is the most important aspect of us doing this quarantine. We quarantined a little earlier than everybody else. My wife is a homebody anyway, so we go out once in a while, we kick in, which
Same.
is fine. But we started quarantining as soon as we found out because we just had a feeling that it was going to just get a lot worse as we
Yeah.
already see that it has. So it's going on 2 months that we've been
Mhm.
quarantined. I think the 8th of May or something like that would be like two
Yeah,
months
because
for
you
us.
guys were quarantined like a week before I did.
Yeah,
'Cause I stopped
before it got
working like,
mandatory.
yeah, almost a week before my office even shut down.
Exactly. So we've been in it, and I think right now is at the point where we are getting a little stir crazy, but we're trying to just make the best. But as far as us spending time together, I think that that's not really an issue because we get along so well, and even when we have
Yeah,
disagreements, it's like the respect level is there. Not that we
yeah,
don't have arguments. I don't want to give anybody this false narrative of what it is, but like we have a certain level of respect and regard for one another. So it's never like a pull
yeah,
when we have to talk
totally.
about it, and we know that it's never coming from a harsh place. So.
Going back to something you said earlier, just talking to like anyone that you have any kind of relationship with in their love language, how would you describe like what's your love language?
Oh, so my love language after we've literally like our marriage counseling, premarital counseling that we had, two great people, Brandy and Kevin Tynes, had us do tests for love languages. So we've been through it all. Mine is words of affirmation
I knew it.
and quality time. So yeah,
What's
those are mine.
Taylor's?
Hers are physical touch and quality time.
Okay, so my love languages are also words of affirmation and quality time,
Mm-hmm.
which is why we get
What?
along so well because all we
Big
want to do is
facts.
spend time together
Big
and tell each other
facts.
how great we are.
Yeah, big facts.
So,
Encouragement
do
is very
you,
important. So.
yeah, do you find that with your friends, there as like, do you think that your friends understand their own love languages to a point where it's easy to maintain friendships because everyone kind of gets what they need from each other?
Like my specific friends or other
Yeah,
people? I say yes for the most part. Like I mean, I feel like people don't know flat out. Like if you don't know about love languages, you're not gonna be like, I know the
yeah,
introvert love language is this, but I think that
right.
by based on energies, we know what each other need. I think that we got friends in the chat right now. Jordan, I see you. What's up? But we kind of know what each other need without it being having to be spoken all the time. There might
Yeah.
have to be some clarity, but overall, I think that we do pretty well.
I think for the most part, a lot of people know deep down what their love language is. They don't know how to ask for it.
Exactly.
Like they don't know how to express to others, like, I don't need you. Like, I need to talk to you about my problem. I don't need you to fix it for me. I just need you to listen. Or,
Right.
like it's not normalized in the way that we interact with our people, like our friends, our partners, our bosses, whatever, to just come in and say like, hi, this is the perspective I'm coming from and this is exactly what I need from you.
Yeah.
Like that is not a normal thing to do. And I feel like now more than ever, like I'm not gonna lie, the first 2 weeks of quarantine I was struggling because I was like, everybody wants to sit on the phone all
All day.
day
That's not
long
that's
and
not
I
a me
can't, I
thing.
physically I can't do it.
I
Like,
can't do it either.
and it's hard because there was one part of me like, okay, I am a super introvert. And I think if there was any part of me that thought I was possibly like an ambivert, like a little bit of both,
Mm.
before this quarantine has solidified that I am not. I am
You're an
fully
introvert
introverted,
at heart.
fully. And
1,000.
I can't sit on FaceTime with you for
All
four
day.
hours every
No.
day. Like I
No.
physically can't do it. But I feel for my extrovert friends who are like, right now, I need more interaction than I've ever needed before because I'm by myself,
Right.
especially like my other friends who live by themselves. So I get it. But, if you don't know how to tell someone, like, I want to support you, I want to be there for you, but I need
Mm-hmm.
you to do it within the confines of these boundaries, like,
Right.
it gets super, super hazy.
Yeah.
Like, super, super
I
hazy.
feel that.
It's gonna be so much back and forth because this is gonna be like our normal for the
For a
foreseeable
while.
future.
Yeah.
So it's like now more than ever, like people need to learn how to have these conversations with their friends. Like
I agree with
learn
that.
how to talk to your friend and ask for what they need and not just give them what you think they need.
Right. And I can chime in that from a male perspective
Yeah.
and because me growing up, I grew up with women. So I was raised by like my mom and my sisters. So
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of overprotective women around me most of the time. But I can say that I had a hard time learning with communication, me jumping into a relationship with Taylor. I think my biggest problem was communication. Not because I didn't know how, because when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to do it. And I
Yeah,
think
that's
that,
real.
and it's not an excuse because once you realize it, you have to change it. But I think that it was harder for me to communicate what I need because if I'm communicating to a bunch of black women and growing up in the house with a single mom, they don't want to hear that. So it's not like there's no room for me to complain. But it's
Right.
kind of socially more acceptable for women to be able to complain and say what they need in urban environments. I don't know
Yeah.
about other people's environments. So I had a
That's
hard
very,
time with
I
that.
think that's very much like the minority experience. Like, and it's definitely true across the board, but I think especially with like Black families and families of color, it's even more like extreme to where it's very hard for men to feel like it's safe to be vulnerable.
It took a long
So
time for me.
now that before I go on to my next point, I want to say something funny. The other day I did like a question thing and it was like make an assumption about me. And
hmm
someone made the assumption that I was my dad's favorite daughter. And what I really wanted to say was like, actually, Izzy is my father's favorite child that is not biologically his because you guys are so much alike. Like my dad calls me all the time. He asks about Izzy every time we talk. We can talk about Izzy for like 20 minutes. Like the son he never had. He does. If Izzy is the
Your dad
favorite,
is the
like
man, though.
if
Your
I
dad
was
is the
daughter
man.
number one, you would be son number like 0. Like you're above all
See,
3 of us. And
that's
it's
good. That's
because you
cool.
guys are so similar. Like my dad was also raised by a single mom. He grew up with a ton of women in his family. So it's like it's interesting. And I feel like a lot of times when I talk to you about these issues, it's very similar to things that my dad has said, which is
Mm,
a good thing, but also kind of alarming that like even a generation down, it's the same exact
right, right,
scenario.
right.
So being like the man that you are now and the age that you are now, how do you think that like the women in your life can be there for you and the men in their own lives to help, just to help like help you feel that it is safe to be vulnerable? Because I do think that one thing that's important in maintaining any relationship is a safety. Like you
hmm
have to feel like it's a safe space for you to be fully yourself with the
hmm
people who you're trying to maintain a relationship with.
That's true. I say that you saying like giving advice based off that point of view,
Yeah, or just like things that
viewpoint.
you've experienced, like in what ways that people made you feel like it's safe to be vulnerable around them.
I think the first way that people have done that is because I grew up in a very, very weird, like, we could talk about it all day, but my upbringing wasn't the most, like, smooth upbringing, quote unquote. But um, I think, I just want to get my words right, but I think the first way, and I didn't get this until I was about 24 years old, 25 years old.
So recently,
Maybe
kind of, yeah.
recently I'm 28, so like not long is the feeling of being able to be present, like
Mm,
let me explain it right. To own your space in the room. I had a really hard time doing that because, like I said, my mom dealt with depression really heavily. My sister and my mom were going through their own stuff. So it was a bunch of family stuff. Mom and dad were separated, but always arguing. I wanted to be the smallest person in the room if I could be to make my mom's life a little easier. And
yeah.
that became problematic in my life because I always found myself everywhere I was trying to shrink myself in the room to like not rub anybody the wrong way and not
Yeah.
cause any more commotion because I'm looking for peace myself. So I say the first piece of advice I got was to be comfortable where you at. Like I'm 6'2", 240 pounds. Ain't no small anywhere. Like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like kind of owning that space and being able to say, this is me. I'm here. I'm in the room. You know what I mean? You can acknowledge me, you can like me, you don't have to like me, but the respect has to be there. And
Yeah.
as a man, I feel like that's important to have as a man who's starting his own family. Secondly, I would say voicing my opinion.
Hmm.
Just a woman allowing me to, specifically women, um, giving me the privilege or helping me get the power to realize that my voice is not, I'm not girling, quote unquote, if I voice how I feel about something. Like I'm
Yeah.
still valid in that feeling because for a
Yeah.
long time I didn't feel that way. So those were the most valuable to me.
That's important. And I
Yeah.
feel like so much of how we show up in our friendships and our relationships starts with how our parents showed up for us and
hmm
how we were allowed to show up with our parents. So, I mean, that's definitely been true for me. Like, it's crazy to me how close my dad and I are now because when I was younger, I was 100% like a mommy's girl. Like,
Right.
my mother could not go to the bathroom without me being like right at her leg. And
Right.
then as I've gotten older, because of like experiences and just like life in general, it completely kind of shifted.
mm
But I mean, those relationships are really foundational, like
Yeah.
the first person that shows you what a normal relationship should look like, quote
Should
unquote
right.
normal, are
Exactly.
your parents.
Exactly.
So much of that is undoing. That's why I think everyone should go to therapy.
I agree.
Have you
I'm
ever gone
working
to
on it.
therapy?
I haven't, but I think I'm ready to start going. So I will start. I have to figure out like I know you don't go in with a real like idea because I know people like, well, what place should I be in when I'm ready to go to therapy? That used to be me, but I think that you got to get to the place where you're ready to be honest with yourself. I think,
Yeah.
before you can go. And I think I'm at that place now. It took me a long time to be honest with myself, just about past things and things that has happened to me or whatever. Like we all got our own problems and things, but it took a while for me to be honest and own it so I can move forward. So now I'm at the place where I feel like if I get asked the question, I ain't gonna look at you sideways like, bro, you asking too many questions. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be comfortable enough to stand in whatever it is. So
When you do start, do you have a preference for like your therapist? Would you prefer a man or a woman?
well, see, I've been nurtured by women majority of my life. So I think that that would be the easier option for me. But in life, I'm taking the harder road because I feel like that challenges you more in every way and aspect. So I
Yeah.
definitely want a black man because I feel like I'm growing up and I'm realizing that my relationship with my dad isn't as close as it was. He's always been around, but we don't really have a relationship. Like my dad doesn't really know me.
Mm,
So I'm working on that relationship and I think that having a black man as a therapist would be A1 because it would teach me, like, you know what I mean? Help me
yeah.
maybe figure out ways. And the black man in me may be able to relate on that subject. My dad is in a very weird space in life. So,
Yeah.
like, it's been kind of weird the last couple of years, but he's still around. So I don't want him to ever feel like,
It's not gonna,
we can't
yeah,
fix whatever it is.
totally.
Yeah.
And something interesting, not to come on here and like tell on my daddy's business, but my dad has gone to both a therapist and a counselor before, and he's seen both a woman and a man, and he
Mhm.
thinks that he needed to go to both.
Okay. Okay.
Because I think that there is something to be said for like I think anyone who's ever come up in church, iron sharpens iron. Like
Hmm.
so there's always gonna be that whole like the source of you can pull something out of you that
Right.
someone else may not be able to. But I do
Right.
think that there is a lot to be said about the nurturing quality.
Hmm.
And I've never had a male therapist, but I don't think I would want one.
Okay. I mean, black women are lit. So we talking about that's the
Top
easy
two when we're
way.
not
You
number
giving me,
two.
yeah, black women are lit. I'm a black man, and I'm gonna tell you that black women are lit. So like, I've watched it my whole life, so I get
Yeah.
it.
And I think that for me, and just being like a black woman with black parents, like even though my both of my parents have at some point in their life gone to see a therapist,
Mm,
and it's such a crucial part of maintaining the relationship with yourself, understanding yourself. Both of my parents, when they found that I was going to therapy, were like not fully here for it. They were just like,
right.
but what's wrong? Like,
Right.
but why do you
Exactly.
need to do this?
Exactly.
Like, it's because it's a blame thing. They want to be like, well, what did I do that made you need to now go be telling your
Yep.
business to this woman?
And it's not
So
always about them. That's what they got to learn.
let's just talk about parents, since we've been in here for a minute. Maintaining that relationship with your parent, like what have you found to work to really like strengthen that relationship? Like I know you said you and your dad are kind of like working on it, but
Hmm.
in the moments where it's good, like what have you found, especially during quarantine? Because one thing that I've found is that our parents are so hard-headed, and getting them to just like sit down and stay in the house and do what they need to do is not as easy as it should be,
Hmm.
and you have to
Mm.
kind of parent them a little bit,
It's the truth.
which
Well,
they hate.
your situation is unique though. That's different. I can understand why dad don't want to stay in the crib.
Don't take his side. He's
But
not even here.
but lesson learned. See, my parents are in a weird space. So for people who don't know on here, I didn't even voice it. My biological mother passed away when I was 18, my senior year of high school. So she's not in the picture, but my stepmom and my stepmom has been in the picture, and they are going through a very difficult time right now, like divorce and everything. So they've been in weird spaces alone in itself because they're separated now. So that's enough to have you be like, all right, cool. Then you got quarantine, everything like that. I would say that I see from my dad. I think that my dad is a person who carries a lot of guilt.
Hmm. I feel like all
Um,
black parents carry so much
yeah,
guilt, so much
he
guilt.
carries a lot of guilt for many things. Some things he did, some things were misunderstood, were misconstrued. So I think he's trying to right his wrongs. So I think the quarantine has him in his bag because people be trying to run away from reality all the time, but in quarantine, where you run into?
You can't go
The
anywhere.
couch,
Yeah.
right? So I think that for that, that's a good aspect of that. For my stepmother, I would say, who was a really like her family were some of, I say, the first people to really teach me what family was really supposed to be like. So I
Mm.
met her when I was 14 years old. And I had this idea of family, but I was already going through my own stuff of mine. But when I got around them and I started seeing how they treat each other and like how they look out for each other, I was like, this is how family is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I think that I watch her now, and I watch how she still tries to hold on to her family, even separated, because now she moved to her own place. She's with my little sister, my dad's youngest child, who's 6 years old. So like, but she's still trying to keep in touch with everybody around because at once we all were in one household. So I
Right.
think that that family value that she still has is still instilled in her. So I
Yeah.
say like, you know, those qualities are things that I kind of noticed in the process of this quarantine.
How many siblings do you have?
I have three. So one,
Yeah.
my oldest sister is 35. My younger sister that's under me is 20. What am I? 28. She's 24, and my youngest sister is 6 years old.
Yeah, so I'm in the middle. I have an older sister whose age I won't say because she'll cuss me out. And I have a younger sister who will be 20 this year, which is crazy. But how have you been maintaining good relationships with your siblings? Because it's interesting because, you know, you have a little bit of a, especially between you and Maya, your youngest sister, you guys
Mm,
definitely have an age gap.
mm,
Like Maya is in a whole other world compared to where you are right now because she's like, not like, she's so young.
seriously.
But with me, like my older sister and I have a very significant age gap, and my younger sister and I have a 7 year age gap. So there's always been
Okay.
like at every point in life we've been in these very different spaces. And one thing that I'm really enjoying right now about this space is that my younger sister and I, like now she's about to be 20. She's not grown. She swears she's grown, but she's not. But she's coming into a phase of life where we relate to each other now more than ever.
I mean, she
And
wants to be just like you.
she wants to be just like Corey, actually, who I think is still watching. Corey is
Corey
like her
lit.
idol, but she's going through, like, she's in college, and now this quarantine has her kind of like shook because she's like, I don't know if I'm going to campus in the fall. This is her freshman year that kind of got
Right.
like cut a semester short.
Crazy.
And it's been really interesting to get to bond with her in this new way. But it's hard because like we were in the same city, so we were closer than we'd ever been before physically and geographically. And now we're getting like closer than ever before in the phase of life we're in. And then Corona happened, and now she's in New Jersey again with my
Hmm.
dad. I'm in Philly by myself. She's going through college in a way that I never experienced college. So there's only so much advice I can even offer. And
Right.
then my older sister, she always is kind of like doing her own thing, but it's so hard because before it's like, okay, we don't talk every week, but if I need to hop on a train and come see you, I can do that and be at your house in 2 hours or less. But
Right.
now if there's distance between us, we only have the phone to fix it. And so with you, like, how are you kind of maintaining those sibling relationships while we literally only have FaceTime?
Mine is easy because they're a pain in my backside. I am like literally the I'm the cool one, so I'm like the collected one most of the time. From what they think, you know, that's how they perceive me because we all got our own perception of ourselves. But I am the laid back one and the one that they call for advice because they just feel like I have it together for some odd reason because I don't. But so it's easy to maintain it because they won't let me go anywhere. Like
That's fair.
my big sister calls me. I talk to my big sister almost every day. Like I'm not a phone person, but that
You're not.
maintaining that relationship, I have to do what I have to do. So it's been fun, like doing that. My little sister, same way, and they're now getting closer again. So it's cool because now we like I don't have to be middleman anymore because
Yeah,
being middleman is trash.
of
But
course.
so I think that it's easy on the sense of like they value my opinion and they kind of value what I think and they really love that one in the other room. So you know they want to just be around. So.
Yeah. I was thinking, and I told you earlier today too, one thing that's really hard for me just thinking about maintaining family relationships are like the fact that there's no end date to this. I'm like, when is the next time I'm going to get to hug my dad? You know?
Right. It's
And I
true.
think for a lot of people, like I said, that my love language is quality time and words of affirmation, but for a lot of my family, it's not. And so we can talk on the phone, but that's definitely not enough for them. Like they need to see us. And I think my mom is really struggling with that because
Hmm.
my mom is just like, I need to see y'all. And I'm like, well, girl, I can't. There's nothing we can do.
That's real.
So she's
Oh, and
having a
also
hard
what she
time.
said in the chat, your sister said, and Maya only wants her mom. She
Oh, your
does.
little
So
sister.
Maya doesn't ever call me unless I call her because Maya is attached to her mother's
That's how all little kids
leg.
are, though. All little
Yeah.
kids are like that. And then she's going to turn like 16 and be like, I exclusively talk to my brother. Like, There's no one
Yeah.
else in my world. I feel like that's
Yeah.
how my younger sister was. There was just a point in her life where it switched. And then she was like, oh, actually, I want to talk to you every day, all the time. And I'm like, I actually don't want to talk to you this much. But
Yeah.
sisters, siblings, they're a blessing when they want to be.
They are. I always wanted a brother,
I never
like
wanted
growing
one. And
up,
then I got
but
you, and now my dad likes you more than me. So I wish I could send you back.
listen, dad is popping. Don't be like that. You can't hate on the relationship. Like it's lit.
I can, but it's fine.
You know, I'm old, so I got an old soul on the low. So like, we can definitely go to Panera Bread and get our veggie
Well,
soup.
veggie soup. That is my dad's favorite thing. I don't even want to talk about the petition that he did at his local Panera. It's just way too much. But let's talk about how you're maintaining your relationship with yourself, because I feel like there's been a lot of self-care discussions happening on the internet since quarantine started, but not a lot of men have been participating. So can you talk about like what does self-care look like for you during quarantine?
It's different this time around because I'm big on self-care, like as far as the physical aspect of it, like trying to take care of my skin and trying to exercise and like do those kind of things. Like that's kind of second nature at this point.
Oh yes, they are, Taylor. They are doing men's ministry via Zoom, and they hate it. So my dad and his brothers are not down with the virtual church. They're ready to go back to church.
Listen, you gotta make it happen right now. Oh,
Sorry
but
to cut you off.
no, you good. But yeah, the physical aspect I've always been big on. Like, and Tay is big on it too. So we like use that as bonding time together, which is cool and fun. But this time, I think that the way I've been taking care of myself is because I have a lot of free time, a lot more free time. I have valued it's like fulfilling my own passions because I'm not as distracted. So
Yeah,
I've been kind of getting back into songwriting and
that's great.
music and like having fun and enjoying the process of it, but also being happy with the product because I'm like my own worst critic. Like I'm terrible. Like nobody like that's why I'm not worried about what anybody else is doing. Like as far as like prying into people's lives because I got enough up
All the
here
people
for
who are like, oh, I
everybody.
need to make the most of it. I need to always be doing.
Yeah,
It's like that's such a distraction.
yeah,
When you
no,
could really just be focused on like, I need to take care of myself through expressing myself in this way.
right. So
I've
that's been
always
really
said
fun.
like with self-care, I feel like there's like a couple of core pillars of self-care. There's physical self-care. That's like the actual things you need to do for yourself to make yourself feel good, whether that's like a skincare routine,
Mm,
exercise, working out. Then there's mental self-care, like things you need to do to feel mentally well. So that could be
right.
journaling, therapy, that kind of stuff. And then there's spiritual self-care as well.
Yeah.
So like for me, that's like meditating, church, prayer. And then there's like luxury self-care, which is like
Right.
not anything that you necessarily need to do, but it's stuff that makes you feel good. So for me, that's like, I'm gonna buy some books today, or
That's it.
I'm going to, like, I can't wait until we're out of the house again because the first place I'm going is the nail salon, and I'm going to be there for the whole day. I
Yeah.
want every treatment that they offer 3 times. Like, that's the kind of luxury self-care that I need. What kind of luxury self-care do you need right now?
Travel.
Oh, travel.
Bruh, my trip got canceled mid-corona. I was supposed to
Yeah.
be out March 23rd. Shout out to
Jordan,
Jordan
if you're
again,
still watching,
Corey,
I'm sorry. Your
everybody
trip
that's in
was
the chat.
canceled.
Yo, it was popping. Like we was ready for that, but because we haven't been anywhere for a while, so I was really looking forward to like having some time out in the
Yeah.
sun and like really not going to do anything. Like more just going to lay back, go to the beach, and just
A trip
try
where
to
you're really on vacation and you're not traveling. Because there's a difference between going on vacation and traveling. Traveling is like, I have to go out every day. I have to do this. I have to see
exactly.
this. I have to be here and there. And then there's like, please don't talk about Jordan's pink Airbnb. She's going to get very emotional. And this video is being archived. But going on vacation is just like, I'm going. And when I get there, whatever I do, I do. If I see it, I see it. If
I
I don't,
don't,
I don't.
facts.
Jordan, it was pink. We know it was pink. It's still gonna be pink when you go because you're gonna go.
Yeah, but I'm
And it's
looking
crazy,
forward to
like that
that.
you said travel because everybody knows like I can't stop going to Paris. But this year I was going on a solo trip in the fall to London, Edinburgh, and Paris by myself. I said solo trip, so obviously by myself, and literally was about to like book flights before I was like, wow, this virus is like really taking over. And then no travel in 2020. So yeah, it's crazy. Like
Corey said, "Now look at us in the house." Big
But it's
deal.
okay. It's okay because when we do travel, like imagine how great it's gonna feel to be on a
When
plane.
are we going? 2021? Let's be real honest. When are we
Honestly, I
traveling?
feel like I will not feel comfortable getting on a plane until late 2021 at the earliest.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this is just a different kind of virus. And I don't want to make this whole thing about like the science of it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny. One thing I do, I listen to the daily, like the New York Times daily podcast every day. And the host, he has like such a great radio voice. And I always laugh because it's like he's telling me the most terrible things, but it sounds so good. Like he's interviewing these scientists who are like, yeah, y'all about to be in the house forever. And I'm like, oh, tell me more. But it's ruining my life.
Wow.
But but it's like they keep saying this is one of those things where we don't know when it's going to be over. This is not anything that they've seen before.
Yeah.
And I also hate how everyone who has never gone to medical school suddenly feels like they are a doctor and a scientist and they know who's immune and when it's going to be over and all this. Like, it's a whole mess. But I feel like by the end of next year, hopefully, we'll be able to book some flights and be outside and be
I
international
hope.
again.
I hope. I
I
really
would
could use
love
a
to take a
trip.
trip.
Yeah, that would be great. But
I
we
miss
just
Europe.
I still have not been to Europe yet. I'm excited about going though.
You can come
Um,
with me. I don't want to go by myself anymore because in case there's a little Rona on the floor, I need some people
wow.
with me. I don't want to be by myself.
The fact that you can travel by yourself though, I give anybody props who can like really like solo
You know what
travel.
really helped me with that? Like, one, therapy. Two, being an introvert. And three, in my old job, I used to have to take these trips all the time. And it would always be like, oh, I'll just go by myself. So, like, I was getting sick. Like, I had to go to California by myself twice. I went to Pittsburgh by myself. And because I'm so crazy, I'm a different kind of traveler. Like, I already have anxiety. And
You do.
I am very rigid. And I love a schedule. Like, if the flight is at noon, I want to be at the airport 9:30 at the latest. Like, I don't understand people who have problems sitting at the gate at the airport. I love getting to the
Do
gate
you?
early, and I have like
Oh,
an hour and a half.
that's
Me and a
Taylor,
book at
bro. Taylor be
at the
having me
gate.
2 hours early with
Are
my
you
switch
kidding me?
charged up.
Me at the
Speaking of,
gate, you spend some time, you can go through your email. Like, I love it. It's the perfect place to get stuff done, knock some stuff off your list. I love it. And so for me, solo travel is like, if I want to wake up at 6 a.m. to be at this museum and be the first one in line, I can do it. Like, I have loved getting to travel with my friends, but none of my friends are on the same, like, time as I am.
well,
Like,
I'm that person. That's why
you
we
are
get
that,
along.
you
I'm
would
that
be
person
that
in my
friend,
friend
but
group too.
most of my friends are very like go with the flow. I'm not go with the flow. I
No, I'm a
hate the
time.
flow. I'll
I can
create the
I
flow
can
and
go with
go
the
with
flow,
what
but
I
I need
say.
time. Like I need you to be on time. I need you to say what time we was going
I'm
because
very much like, it's because this is how my dad is. It's like, you're on time if you're 5 minutes early and you're late,
mhm,
you're on time.
I'm the same way. But my
Because it's
dad,
like,
mine comes
I
from
could never
anxiety.
fathom missing a flight.
Right.
I could not, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, they told you what time it left. All you have to do is get there before that. I would rather be at the airport for like 12 hours than miss a flight.
You would.
So,
Yeah.
so next year, like, I do still want to take my solo trip, but I'm also like, now that I've missed the whole year of traveling with friends, like, we might as well go somewhere
You gotta
together.
make up for it. That's true.
What are your other luxury self-care things?
I like to get dressed.
A good
Um,
outfit. You do like an
I
outfit.
like to get dressed, even if it's simple. I'm not really a brands guy. If you know me, I'm like very simple. I'll buy something from the dollar store if it was fly, like seriously, and try to make it happen. But I like to get dressed because it makes me feel good, more than anything else. So
Are you
I'm.
still getting dressed in the house just to like get that feeling
It's
stirred?
like comfy swag, nothing crazy. Like you know what I mean. I might have a do rag on, rock out with the tee, and like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just as long as I'm comfortable. But I remember growing up and not having a lot, and not really having the option to look the way I wanted. So I think that I'm really big, really particular on my appearance. Not because I'm self-absorbed, but because I value being able to even do that.
Yeah.
Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean. So
Corey
that's a
said when
luxury
I
for
go
me.
to the airport, I only have time to walk straight onto the plane, and I could not relate to anything less in my life.
I mean, she a New Yorker. You know, they live on the edge. She's
Part of my paranoia when I'm like factoring in travel time too, it's like I need to have time to leave my house, get to the airport in time, get food, and also when I realize I forgot my passport, go back home, get it, go back to the airport, the security, and
Yup.
still make my flight.
The
Like
same.
anything that could possibly go wrong, I have accounted for, and I'm ready.
Y'all are the same people that are asleep as soon as we get to vacation after all that morning travel and
Yeah.
preparation.
And they'll be like, I don't know why I'm so tired. Because you were up until the crack of dawn and then you ran to the plane. You basically had to fly the plane yourself to
Yeah,
make it on time. It's too stressful. No. I could
yeah,
do like an entire video series on like my travel routines and only a fraction of the population will relate to it.
yeah. I believe it.
And you would be in that fraction.
Yeah,
But I
I
always
believe
have great trips. I have great trips. Great time. Once
no
I'm
missed
there, there's no
flights,
stress. Don't
no
miss
missed
flights.
flights. I wish Jalen was in this chat. If y'all know Jalen Blott is the king. He always documents it online, but he's the king of just making it on your flight. I'm talking about like
Yeah.
by like the skin of your teeth. And I'm like, that gives me anxiety even watching that. I'm like, you're running through the gates, bro, trying to make it. No, I can't.
And you know what bothers me too? Because those people are also the people that just, once you're on a plane, they're the ones that come on the plane and disturb your peace. And now they're in the window. They got to bump all past you. They're up and down into the booth because they didn't have time to organize their stuff. I'm like, what is going on? There should be a set row for the unprepared. I've been in this seat for 30 minutes. There's no reason that I should be being moved, jostled, and inconvenienced because you didn't know that you left your lip balm in the overhead bin.
Do y'all hear Amber? This is Amber every day, just like this, fussing
My
at
anxiety
somebody.
would never let me be late for anything, but definitely not a flight. Yes. You know, I used
That's
to get
real.
made fun of my freshman year of college because when classes started, I would be outside of the classroom, like sitting on the floor waiting for class for like 25 minutes. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
this is college. We paid to be here.
I think it's the anxiety that's attached with that as
It's
well,
definitely
though.
the anxiety.
Because
And
I'm
I
the
feel
same
like
way.
that's one of the ways that it works in my favor.
It does. I agree because I'm the same way. Like, I don't like being late. One, because my dad used to always make me late when I was a kid. Like, I never made anything on time, and I was on like what they call African time with my dad. It's different. It's
My
like,
dad, if my dad is late, like if we're all as a family going to church together and he said if service starts at 11, he wants to leave at 10:15. Mind you, the church is about 20 minutes from the house, so there's no need to be that early, but I get it. And if we leave even 5 minutes after he wants to leave, he's he's like, I don't want to go anymore. We have to go. I don't want to go. Because what's the point? Like, y'all don't want to go on time. Timing is
yeah.
the only thing I've ever taken
I agree,
anxiety
Janky.
for.
I
1,000%.
agree 100%.
I'm
That
like,
is our,
honestly,
yeah,
if my
we do good with
anxiety
that.
relieves in every other way, but I'm still this on-time freak, I will take
Yeah.
it.
But I feel bad for our staff in the future.
I don't, because I'm going to hire a bunch of me's.
I feel bad with timeliness if they're not on time because that's probably the one thing I'm probably going to be a stickler about because of the way I am about time.
100%. Even my kids. Like, please get up. Amber being up early in college, yeah.
I don't know what kind of kids we going to have. It could go in between. You got me and Taylor. So, like, it's just like we are the complete opposite because I don't know how to relax and she relaxes too much.
That's
So
not
we be trying to balance it out. I think we found a way to make it happen because I'll get antsy and she'll do something with me, or I'll be doing too much and she'll make me relax.
Are you working on learning how to relax? Like, have you
Yeah,
tried?
she's teaching me that.
What
That
have you
goes to
learned so
her.
far? Because that's a big part of maintaining your relationship with yourself, learning how to calm yourself down.
I'm learning one to sit down, as simple as that may sound. I pace sometimes, like when I'm
You
doing
do.
stuff or when I have things to do, because it's how I program my thoughts of what I have to do for the day. Like I'll get up in the morning, and I'm an early bird. That's the funny part. Like I'll get up, I can go to sleep at 4 a.m. I'll still be up at 8.
Yep.
Like, and I won't even feel tired. That's how used to it. College, that got me through in college because in college I used to be out partying, pull all nighter, go to sleep at 7 o'clock, wake up at 7:30, get ready for my 8 a.m. class,
That's not
and be
sleep.
fine.
You close your eyes for 20 minutes.
And be fine. And then I'll have the crash probably later down the week somewhere because my energy level. So
Have you ever tried to meditate?
no, but she got me doing yoga, so that's different.
I feel like you would benefit a lot from meditation. And I also think that a lot of men need to practice meditation because I don't know if this is like a guy thing, a black man thing, but like I had one like ex in particular who, if there was nothing happening, he could not physically like sit down for long. He needed to stand up. Like I just need to stand up. Like I'm not comfortable sitting down.
That's a
I'm like, just
person
sit down. Like
from
we're not doing
experience. From experience, that's a person who has lived in a house full of turmoil.
it's that, and you have all this pent up chaotic energy.
Yeah, it's like
And
you're
what
not used to the quiet when it's too quiet. It's just too.
meditation lets you lets you process quiet and teaches you how to like sit still in your body and in your
Yeah,
breath and kind of just like,
yeah. Right now with the quarantine, what I'm doing with that is I'm trying to figure out those kind of things right now. A lot of self care, like you said, but like she had me doing yoga. I don't know if I love it right now, but it's still new. I need to probably become a little more flexible, like all that good stuff. So
you should take I posted her yesterday, but Lauren Level, her stretch class. So it's not yoga. It's not
mhm.
like a traditional
I
yoga
enjoy the
flow,
stretching
but
more than
it's
anything.
really good, and it's like smaller classes. So she'll be like, "What do you need?" Like there were only maybe 3 of us in class last night, and she was like, I was like, oh, I keep getting these like neck pains, and
Yeah.
we go through things that are very like specific to
Yeah,
what
I
you're
could do
struggling with.
that. That's more my speed, but I'm good at that because like my spirituality, like the way I am, like with my anxiety, that's the one thing that helps me kind of ease it. Is either prayer or like more so finding an outlet, like working out or something like that. That's helping me still clear my mind. So I enjoy that, but I'm kind of down on the fact that I can't work out the way I'm used to. So now I got to be innovative.
Yeah,
So
there's a really good app called Insight Timer, and they have like a ton of free guided meditations. And for me, I have not reached the point where I can like sit and do like a 20-minute meditation in complete silence, but I really like guided meditation because I feel like just the way that my brain is wired, I need some kind of like instruction. Like I need to know like, am I still doing this? Am I doing it right?
hmm
And so a guided meditation, they have them for all like time ranges. You can do it for 2 minutes, you can do it for 30 minutes, like whatever you need. And it kind of just like walks you through like this is how you should be breathing. This is where you can focus your thoughts on. And it's like it's really, really helpful, especially as you're just starting to meditate. Like I've only been
hmm
meditating for maybe like 4 or 5 months now. And I'm
Okay.
at the point now where I can sit through and do like a 30-minute guided meditation, where before I could not turn my
You
brain
could,
off for like longer
yeah,
than 5 minutes to
yeah,
build up the habit. So I'll link that app in the
yeah. I need
description
that. I do
when I
need that.
upload this.
Because I
Yeah,
feel like
it's
I'll
good.
enjoy that a little more than I would enjoy yoga, even though I'll still keep trying to do it. But
It's a good way to just like, especially when you first wake up, to just kind of calm your mind and center your thoughts.
that's real.
What
That's
other
real.
self-care things are you trying besides yoga? I love that
Um,
you're trying yoga.
I
I've been
am.
trying to
I'm
get my
trying to.
dad to come to yoga for like a year.
It's interesting. She got it with no problem. Like, and she does this. She's just started doing it too, but she just so with it. And I'm like, all right, my leg hurt. Like, come on. But I think other self care, craft, photography. I don't know how I forgot that. Like, what I'm doing right now is like a series of like self portraits of myself. I'm trying to just get more creative in that way of doing it, no matter what I'm using. But I had some lights coming from Amazon, but I'm mad because of COVID. They won't be here until like mid-May now.
Oh yeah,
But
Amazon packages like it's either coming tomorrow or it's coming whenever. Like there's no
right,
date.
so I'm like, I bought the lights and stuff like that so I can mess around with the different colors and like just get more creative so I can hit the ground running when it's time to get out of this because it's not gonna last forever. So it's like I'm literally like just trying to prepare myself in all ways possible to be ready to take off. Got a lot of time to think. So self care more so just like I'm enjoying the as much as I'm enjoying the downtime. And I will say this to everybody as a side note: don't let anybody tell you how to use your quarantine time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because people are online saying if your friends haven't called you during quarantine,
They hate you, and you
then
know who
they
to cut out
then
of
you
your
need to
life.
reevaluate your friendship. And when it's over, you need to keep them out of your life. And I'm like, yeah, but you did not once just ask your friend if they was okay. You didn't check on them either. So it's like the same energy. But like I feel like everybody's handling this a little differently. This is literally, like you said, nothing something we've never seen before. This is weird. It's very weird. The world is literally on freeze mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I feel like if we take advantage of that, of the time that we have without all the constraints and everything else that
Yeah.
comes with it, then I think we can value the time more. So
Yeah.
I've been using that time to not only relax and spend time with my wife and just enjoy it, but also to hone in on my craft. So it's like scheduling out your days and being organized enough to be intentional about what you want to do.
Have you come up with like a routine for yourself?
Loosely,
Yeah.
like kind
I
of
think
loosely,
that's all
but
you need to do, like a loose, flexible routine that works, but is not like you don't have to be so beholden to it that you can never change as your days change.
right. So it's like very loose. Like I'll have my mission. Like when I get up, I have to like get like I'm getting ready for the day. Even if
Yeah.
I'm in the house in like a beater and shorts, but I still want to get up
Yeah.
shower, brush my teeth, whatever I'm
Change from
doing.
your night sweats to your
Yeah,
day sweats.
exactly. Put it on and like be intentional about my day. If I get up and I have prayer, or if I get up and I go running, or if I walk this 4 mile trail that's by my house, or whatever I decide to do, but make space to do that, and then make space to, be intentional about your other moves and what you want to do. So if I'm going to talk to people and I'm going to call family and check up on family, which I try to do at least once a week, then it's like from 1 to 3, I'll call and check up on people. Like, you know what I mean? Just making it intent, because if you don't do that, and if you're not an organized individual, your days are going to run you.
Yeah.
And you're going to end up realizing that you did nothing for most of the day, which is, it's cool some days, but that's not how you want to live your life every day.
Yeah, you don't want it to be every day.
Yeah.
I think this was a good combo.
I think so too.
Thanks for coming on.
It was fast. It was quick.
It's been like 45 minutes.
Yeah. Oh wait, let me put my @ in the joint. Y'all gonna follow people that don't know me can follow me and whatnot.
Oh yeah, and I'll link your Instagram and everything when I upload the video as well.
Okay, cool. Let me see. Just because we're on here for whatever. When is this over?
We have like 14 minutes before Instagram kicks us off.
Oh, got you. Word. All right, what else you want to ask?
Everyone follow. Well, I feel like we talked about a lot. Are there any other like relationship nuggets you want to throw in before we in the chat?
Let me see. Relationship.
About any kind of relationship with your family, your spouse, yourself, any other
okay. This is something that I feel like just needs to be said because it just really dropped like right here. For people who are holding grudges against people, I know there's somebody on here who is. Fix it, please. Like, you know what I mean?
This is a great time to mend relationships.
Yeah, I don't know who heard it, but fix whatever it is. It's not really worth it. Like, literally, we are losing people in large amounts of numbers right now. And it's just not any grudges or anything you want to fix. Make a phone call. Be the bigger person if that's what makes you feel like you need to make the phone call, whatever it is. But just get it right, man. Because life is short.
I agree, and it's unpredictable. You don't know.
Yeah.
Like we are gonna get through this. I'm confident that like as a globe we're going to get through this together. But we don't know what comes after COVID-19. Like
right, exactly.
We cannot foresee what comes next. And so if nothing else, this moment has really taught me just to appreciate every day that you get,
the people.
And the days that you get with the people that you have. Like this is the time to tell the people that you love them more often than not.
Right.
You know? Because you don't know when you're going to get to do it in person next.
And checking up on people who you know are spending time by themselves. I always say, like, what they say, idle mind is a devil's playground kind of thing or whatever. It's the truth, though. And it's like, some people don't really have those relationships with people. So if you know somebody who just need to get a call or a text just to check up and make sure they're good, please do that. You don't know what you can do for somebody else. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
I consider myself an
Are you a little bit of both?
I'm a little bit of both. I don't know how to really say it, but I'm definitely more extrovert. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ambivert. I'm definitely more on the extroverted side than introverted, but I feel like as life progresses, I'm becoming more of an introvert.
So as like tapping into your like extroverted side, how do you like, and this is not to generalize what all extroverts need or experience, but how are you like, what do you need people to do for you to help the extrovert in you during this like quarantine time?
Check up.
Yeah. So just
call
like
me,
that,
because we can't really do much.
Connection.
Yeah, and I'm not a long-winded individual. So like if you literally send me a text message and we talk for 5 minutes, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, because I try to do that with people, but I can't do that with everybody. So like, if I drop in your mind, shoot me a message. Like that's really all I need. I like to have contact and know that my people are cool.
Yeah.
Are cool. Like that's really it.
And I think that's across the board, even introverts. Like as an introvert, I will say like, do I need to FaceTime you every day for an hour? No. But just like boundaries around how like the more extroverted friends in my life need to be connected right now, it's helpful. Like if you want to spend some time on the phone, that's great, but like text me first so I can prepare to have that like conversation with you. Or if you need to like really just like be and have me like on FaceTime, or you need that like extra like the extra communication, just to like let me know so people have time to prepare. I think we have to remember still that despite everything, the people in our lives, all the relationships we have those boundaries. Like tell your boss not to text you after a certain time, turn your email off after a certain time, like set those hard communication boundaries, because it's really easy when everything is very fluid to really mess up a lot of relationships because you're just doing whatever and no one's respecting what each other's needs are, because it's like, yeah, I called her. I'm not going to see her for like 3 months. What's she going to do? Nothing, because you're not. So it's important to still like not only have those boundaries, but enforce those boundaries in a way that is respectful, but
I like that. I
also
respect that.
it's your,
I
everyone
respect
just
that.
needs, we need so much. Do your best and just like be kind to others. And,
That's it. Especially
that's
right
all we really
now.
can do.
Yeah, and I hope that it continues afterward because I think a lot of people are seeing like the error of some of their ways
Yeah.
necessarily in this process because it's easy to you got a lot of attention on yourself now. It's like you and God, like so. Like I think that I hope that when life turns back up, which it will, and it's going to happen fast, and I think that we can avoid trying to be distracted by all the things that's outside.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be easy. All the brunches, the bottomless brunches, as much as people love that and all that, that's going to pop. Everything's going to pop right back up. And it's definitely important, like we said with boundaries, is to give yourself those too. Put
Yeah.
boundaries on your own self because nobody knows you like you. No matter how much you run from it, nobody knows
That
you
is
like you do.
true.
So
A lot
set
of
the
people have
boundaries.
been going outside just because they're running from things that they could only deal with inside.
Yeah.
And now that we're inside, it's like,
Get,
you should still deal with those things when we're allowed to go back outside.
deal with it and know your limits. Like my thing is, if I know I got a shopping problem, one of the boundaries that I should set is that when this is over and all the ads pop up online, which they will, and all the sales happen, and all the go
Oh,
outside
yeah.
campaigns going to happen, you need to make sure you budget or stay in the crib. I'm not gonna say don't buy yourself anything, but like
But know what you're like,
set that
yeah, know
precedent for
what's going to
yourself
trigger you when you're back outside.
because that's the point of this. If you go back to doing the same old thing, what was the point? You
Yeah.
just went through a trial. You went through a bunch of trials for no reason.
Right.
Like you know what I mean?
I
So I
love
think there's
that.
a lesson for everybody to learn.
Before we end this, I didn't realize that I was going to be one doing these lives every week or turning them into like any kind of series. But now that I am, I really want to end all of them with the two, like the person I'm talking with and I sharing something that we're grateful for.
Okay.
Because I think in a lot of this, like it's so much chaos, it can be really easy to get distracted by all the things that are inconveniencing you or all the fear or all the uncertainty. But I was listening to this podcast and there was a psychiatrist on, and he mentioned that gratitude is like a super emotion
Mm-hmm.
because it lifts you, but at the same time, like just you expressing your gratitude out loud has the impact, has like the impact on people around you. So like me even just
I
saying
agree.
I'm so grateful for you for joining this live,
Mm-hmm.
like me, it lifted me, but that also sends something out to you that you can then send on to someone else. So
Right.
me personally, I am very grateful for our postal workers and delivery people because
Thanks.
it is like not lost on me that they are single-handedly keeping this world functioning on some kind of sense of normal. Like I don't think we understand how important it is that we have a functioning like postal service. They're the ones that are getting medical supplies to these hospitals. They're getting us supplies that we need. Like they're literally so essential to our day-to-day life in general. But during this, like I walked past a mail truck and like almost started crying because I'm like, this is
That's real.
crazy. But I'm so grateful for all of them for continuing to show up at work, putting
Mm-hmm.
themselves at risk just to make sure that we can kind of have some sort of sense of normal and
Mm-hmm.
still be able to get access to things that we need. So
That's real.
that's my gratitude. What's your
That's
gratitude?
real. Hmm. I'll
It
go
can
with
be
something
big or
more.
small.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with something more internal since you went that way because I feel the same way about all the essential workers. But I'm gonna say like positivity. I'm grateful for being able to even have that like in
Yeah.
this time, and because it's literally what's going to literally get you through the process of it, and it makes it easier to be in the house. You're still positive. Like we got life. Like there's so many other things that could be going wrong, even though it seems like everything is to some people. But like just being able to be positive and be able to spread light and give that positivity to other people who need it. Because when you have something, it's not for you. Like it's not
Yeah.
just strictly for you. So if I'm joyous or you're depressed because of quarantine, I can easily FaceTime with you, even if I make you laugh for like 20 minutes. Like
Yeah.
you don't know what you do for people in the time back to people being alone. Like you don't
It
really know
costs you
what you do
nothing
for
to
people.
spread kindness.
Right. So spread that love. Like you got that positivity and you spread it. So I'm grateful that me and Taylor are in a place where this isn't like torture for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Thanks for jumping on with me and talking
Of
about
course.
relationships and quarantine and all that good stuff.
This was lit. You gotta have me more. I keep telling her to make me our co-host, but she don't want to do that.
You literally
So
were just my co-host.
yeah, I mean, I'm talking about permanent. I'm just playing, but yeah,
Outrageous.
this was fun.
Outrageous.
I
This was
enjoyed it.
great.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. And yeah, I'll see you next week.